Hello everybody, welcome to London's King's Cross. Today we're going to be trying LNER, the London North Eastern Railway. We're going to be going from here in King's Cross up to Darlington. Please come along and join me for the ride and we'll find out what it's like to get a train these days. I'm travelling today over the August bank holiday weekend, so let's see what King's Cross is like in the new normal. Thanks for watching, enjoy the video. The first thing you'll notice at King's Cross is the plethora of one-way systems that now exist, including this one to the one-way tube system. There's no entry from the front of the station and marshals are in place to make sure that you don't ignore those no entry signs. You'll need to follow the green arrows through the little passageway to the entrance opposite St Pancras station in order to get into King's Cross. If you are travelling there, please give yourself plenty of time as many of the usual tube entrances and exits are currently closed. On LNER, it is mandatory to have a seat reservation to get on board the train today, and there's signs all across the station to remind you of that, along with station announcements. The revamped King's Cross really is a great space, especially when it's as quiet as it is today. Unfortunately though, due to the current situation, muggles are unable to get even halfway through to platform 9 3/4 right now, with the border closed. Today's train is the 9 AM service to Edinburgh and it's a 9-car Azuma. Throughout today's video I'll be comparing the LNER experience to Darlington with the experience of Grand Central that I took from Eaglescliffe on my return leg. Here's the class 180 Adelante from that journey. If you didn't know, Adelante is Spanish and translates to ahead. Back to boarding, and today we're in coach G and it's where we'll find our allocated seats. Just before 9 AM we pulled away from our platform and headed out into the Copenhagen tunnels. There's quite a bit of work going on with them at the moment, with the third bore being reopened in the coming years. Now, keeping in tune with the exotic sounding train names, Azuma is Japanese for east, and I'll be heading out to Japan in the new year to experience the mighty Shinkansen or bullet train. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as not to miss those videos. Back to our seat then, and every seat does have these ticket headers reminding you of the allocated seating that's in operation. The green seating lights that we're all used to have all been disabled deliberately. There are glass overhead storage shelves on these trains, but they're not the most spacious and my small cabin bag did struggle to squeeze in. We are at a table seat today, which does provide plenty of room, and your feet can stretch out underneath to tap the person in front of you, which I believe seatmates really do enjoy. Every seat has a power supply, which is so critical these days. I used it to plug in my 8-year-old MacBook Pro, which is still doing a sterling job all these years later, and letting me edit that weekend's video, which was the full flight of the BA A321neo. Make sure you check that one out. The seats on the Azuma are in a 2-2 layout with alternating deep red insets. By comparison, the Grand Central design is also in a 2-2, but the seat there is much bigger with extra padding. In all honesty, I do prefer the Azuma seat as it makes the cabin feel more spacious and it's easier for you to get in and out of. On the Azuma you also have this small armrest to keep people away from you, and the seat is plenty wide enough for you to wiggle around in. To the side you'll find bag and coat hooks on every seat and also on the wall of the carriage, and every window comes fitted with a sunshade. Both operators we're travelling on today offer free Wi-Fi, which is a really good idea when it's executed correctly. The left is LNER and on the right you'll find Grand Central. LNER just about edges ahead in the speed test, although really what can you do with a 1 MB connection these days? My emails wouldn't even load, and the same goes for the poor upload speed. We're well on our way to Darlington now, so I think I'm due a snack. Let's head to the shop. The shop on the Azuma is much smaller than what you're used to in the galley style HST, although they still offer quite a good selection of hot, cold drinks, sandwiches and snacks. The attendant on today's train was in full PPE to try and make you feel safer. Heading back to the seat, and let me remind you when I took the journey that I'm on today. It's the Saturday 9 AM train on an August bank holiday weekend. The train would usually be absolutely packed, but today, due to the present situation, very, very light indeed. One quick thing to mention, at the time of travel alcohol was banned on LNER. Not such a problem at 9 AM, but I can see it being a problem later on in the day. As we pull out of York, there isn't much time left, so I'm off to use the facilities. toilet door on the train didn't seem to fully lock, and there was a gap in between the door and the wall once closed. Overall though, it was clean and there was soap available to wash your hands with. I mentioned earlier how quiet the train north was. Well, on the way back south on the bank holiday Monday, the Grand Central train stopped at York. York was very busy indeed. Just look at the platform. As with LNER, you're supposed to have a seat reservation to board, but most people did not, leading to people standing down the length of the train and occupying every seat. Why have a policy if it's not going to be enforced? We're almost at Darlington now, which means that's almost the end of today's video. Thank you for joining me on this train journey today. I hope you found it insightful and you enjoyed it. Next weekend we'll be taking a flight from Gatwick to the stunning island of Santorini. Make sure you subscribe as not to miss that one. Thank you for watching and we will see you next weekend.